Welcome to When the Smoke Clears. My name is Joel. I'll be your host today. Like I always like to get my videos started with a moment of silence followed by the serenity prayer for the addict who still suffers. So please, a moment of silence if you will. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Alrighty. Well, let's get started. I always like to do my videos at different remote locations around the city, and today I've chosen the Mexican Cultural Arts Center out in the courtyard, and I've got a guest here with me, this guy here. I don't know exactly who he is, but I know he's Mexican, I guess. Mayan, Aztec, one of them. But at any rate, there's some history out here, a good place to, come and kill a few hours, if you will. But I'll give you a little description of this guy. Let me grab this. Look at that. See this guy? Wow, looking at me. Yeah, pretty cool. But anyway, let me set this back down. Alrighty. Now let's get started here. Okay, well, again, I always like to come out different places in the city to spend some time, enjoy, my time, and occupy it in other ways other than when I was obviously in addiction. And this is one of the things that I like to do is to go out and do my due diligence as far as, getting the word out there, spreading the message of help for the addict who still suffers, and just to encourage those who are still in recovery and may feel stagnant in your road to recovery, and that you just think that things are going nowhere, and just kind of light people's fire, if you will, because I've been there, I've done that, and I've been in those stints of sobriety where you feel like, man, this sucks. And so I'm not having fun anymore, in a sense. And the mind starts playing tricks on you. You know what I mean? It's cunning and baffling. So it is definitely something that you got to do on a regular basis, is to stay engaged and connected. And for me, it's staying engaged and connected into the lifestyle of recovery, whether it's a 12-step program, whether it's a faith-based 12-step program. It doesn't matter, just as long as you're engaged and just as long as you're not staying stagnant and spinning your wheels, because that's when the insanity starts coming in. That's when the mind starts playing tricks on you, and you think that, hey, you know what, I've been sober for a little bit, and I can manage just, let me just do it one more time, or just, hey, it's not gonna hurt, just guys, just have a beer, or man, I'm just gonna do one hit. I mean, just let me just snort this one here, just for to get me by the day or whatever. But no, because those things, those types of triggers are triggers that are gonna that can keep you hung up and stagnant in a place like they did for me. And I've had relapses before, but the last relapse that I had was a 5-year stint, and being relapsed for 5 years, man, that's a tough hook right there. I mean, I got just stapled down to the ground, in a sense, and I stayed there, and I do these things so that I can spread the message and to let people know and encourage people to say, you know what, there's help out there. There's ways to not stay in that negative, stagnant realm. And so my topic, I guess, for today is something that I heard on a bus ride that I was on. I don't Google niches of what my topic's going to be for the day or anything like that. What I do is I give you everyday live raw feed from an addict who's in recovery, on the daily basis. So if something's bothering me that day or that week and something didn't go right and I had trouble with it, but I recognized the red flags and I did this, that, or the other to get over it, well then, those are the types of messages that I'm bringing out to the public, to my audience, so that they know where exactly I'm coming from. Because I'm not going to give you anything that's not true. I'm not going to give you anything that's sugar-coated. I'm going to give you the raw feed, how it is here in the streets of San Antonio and any suburbia area in America, because addiction isn't discriminatory. It don't just happen in big cities like this one. It happens in the big cities. It happens in the rural country areas. It happens everywhere, and to anybody. It don't happen just to a Mexican guy like me. It happens to every race, creed. I don't care. It takes a hold of you, and if it does, then sometimes you don't make it out. But at any rate, I just wanted to kind of get a word out there to you guys today to let you know the story of what I heard and what it meant to me, and kind of translated and kind of intertwined that into my life and my recovery and my addiction. So it was a story of a fella who's on the bus, and another gentleman hops on the bus and sees him, and he said, "Hey man, ain't you so-and-so's brother?" Yeah, that's me. And so they start mingling, talking a little bit, and the guy asks him, "Oh, so what's going on in your life now?" And the guy's like, "Oh, just out here, trying to make a buck. That's exactly where I'm going right now. I'm gonna go hustle, make some money, because someone stole my money, and I need to get some more." And he's like, "Oh man, what happened?" He's like, "Well, my cousin and her boyfriend stole my money. It was $198, and I don't have it now, but yeah, so that's what I'm gonna go do. I'm gonna go try and hustle and work and make some more money." So the guy goes like, "Man, did you tell your brother Nathan?" And he's like, "No, I didn't tell anybody. I told my grandma, but my grandma said that it was okay." She goes, "You know what? It's okay that I was gonna get repaid a whole lot more, and that that my cousin and her boyfriend are addicted on drugs, and they'll pay you back. I'll make sure that they pay you back." And so when I heard that story, I was like, man, how many times does that happen to people who have no business it happening to? You know what I mean? Like, how many times have people suffered like that young man did because they actions of somebody who's doing something stupid or cunning or baffling or insanity? You know what I mean? And to me, it bothered me in a sense that I started thinking about my own life and my own addiction and my own recovery, and I started thinking, man, well, how many times did I do something like that? Not necessarily just straight up stole and robbed somebody's stuff, but how many times did I do something to make them feel like that young man did? And it got me thinking, and I'm like, man, when you're in the realm of this disease that we have, you don't, you're in that I don't give a F mode. You know what I mean? You don't give a F what happens to anybody. You don't give a F what happens, what your actions are going to do and who they're going to affect, and you don't give a shit about none of that. Because all you give a shit about at that particular moment in time is the next hit, so that you can feel better than the way you're feeling at that particular moment. And when I started thinking about that, I was like, man, I started feeling just this sense of remorse, in a sense, a sense of kind of like sadness, I guess. Like, man, did I really make somebody feel like that? As a human being, and as a human being that is not under the influence of any type of mind-altering, chemical dependent, liquids or drugs or whatever it is, your brain starts working and functioning like quote unquote normal people, and I'm like, man, I'm feeling something here that I don't usually feel. And when I start feeling, I usually remedy that feeling with something, like immediately. Like I know what I do, I know what makes me feel better. And but at the same token, I'm thinking of this thought as a recovered addict that is thinking mentally different now. So I'm thinking like, wow, what do I do now so I don't feel that? So, one of the things that I do is just, doing these videos. You know what I mean? I go out to different parts of the city, and I take in a sense, I'm like a tourist, a local tourist, if you will. And because I live in a big city, you know what I mean? There's plenty of history in the city. There's plenty of things to do, and they're fun. And I'm finding out little bit by little bit, day after day, that I can do things. I can pick up other stuff to do to replace the things that I used to, and still get the same result, and mentally. And for me, being in that dark hole, in that dark world of just continually just using and using, and then using when, you're just not happy. You're just doing it just to do it, and you're sick of it, but you don't know how to stop because your mind's insane and it just keeps telling you to, hey, go get one more, go get another one, go get another one, go get another one, And then the environment that you put yourself in, it also takes a toll on you, because now, I personally put myself in an environment where I was in a situation with another person who was also using a different drug, but also using and full-blown in addiction like I was. And now I found myself not only dealing with one person, but I'm dealing with trying to, remedy two minds, my own and the other person. And then as an addict, I'm a selfish dude. You know what I mean? I'm getting mine before I get yours. So that in turn brings in more problems, because now the other person's pissed off. Where the hell's my shit? You got yours, where's mine? Then that puts you in a danger environment, because now they're going to do whatever the F, or and they, sometimes they want to hurt you, sometimes they want to do this, sometimes they want to do that, but they want to do something because now they don't have what you have. So now they're pissed. So now you upscaled your environment into a high alert, in a sense. So the world is just spiraling and spiraling down when you're there, and you start putting yourself more and more messed up predicaments. And so my point is that finding things to do that keep you engaged, in the reminder of that, hey, you know what? Don't go here, don't go there, don't do this, don't do that, because you know where it takes you, know where it gets you, you know what happens, you know the end results for that. And when you're thinking about those things as a sober person, you are thinking healthy thoughts, in a sense. I'm not saying that you don't think about the other stuff, but your healthy thoughts come first in your mind. So then that's what you start setting boundaries for yourself. You say, okay, well, I'm not going to put myself in this situation. I'm not going to go to this area because I know if I do, this happens. So or I'm not going to, I can't talk to these people because if I go over there and talk to them, I know what happens when I'm there. So you start setting these healthy boundaries for yourself, and the more you use it, the more you do it, it is just exactly the same way your mind starts triggering and thinking, just as if you were in full-blown addiction, but this time you're in full-blown recovery and you're in a positive realm. So that makes it a whole lot better, and the results to that are a whole lot better. And but the trick is here to stay engaged, stay connected, and be aware of the pitfalls, because the pitfalls are going to be there. The red flags are going to be there every single day as soon as you wake up. You know what I mean? It could be a smell. It could be just something that you see on TV. It could be anything. And it'll trigger something in your mind right off the bat to get you, boom, back focused into that mode. So that's where you have to learn to correct your thoughts and train yourself to keep doing the positive things. So for me, it's doing an affirmation every morning. You know, I'll get up, I'll pray, I'll, say things positive, little verses, or I'll write sentences down of something that I'm going to do for that particular day, what I want for that particular day, and I'll repeatedly say it for 20 minutes or whatever, or during my morning exercise, because that's another thing that I do in the morning is I'll do a 20 to 30 minute exercise. Nothing rigorous. It's just all meditated working out, or core training, if you will. I'll do a different video. I've done it before, but it wasn't that great. But I may do another one. Maybe that would be my next video, is to do exactly that, so that you could start your day on a positive note like I do mine. So that's what I do. And then, once I'm done with that and I get my day going, then I start my journey on, doing one of these videos. And I start, like, okay, well, where am I going to do it? And I'll pray about it, and then, bam, I'll once I get on the road, then I figure out, something always triggers in my head to say, okay, this is what we're going to do. And so today, that was one of those things. I'm on the bus, and I'm headed towards downtown, and I hear that story, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to do that. So that's where the whole segment of today's episode came from, is my ride on the bus and hearing that story of how these drug addict family members of his sold his money. So so I just wanted to kind of get that out there, to just so that you know, and that if you're maybe stuck on one of those steps where you have to make amends and that sort of thing, just know that once you get that stuff off your chest, it allows you to go to that next step. It allows you to progress into that next realm of positivity, of recovery. And because that was one of the hardest things to do, is the make amends step. I mean, to either write it down, or if you literally have to go and talk to somebody and say, hey, you know what, sorry that I did this, sorry that I did that. It's not an easy thing to do. And it's hard. And I couldn't do it at first. But what I found out for me, what worked for me, was that doing it and journaling it on a piece of paper in a notebook, and I would write down those apologies, because it made me feel better when I literally said it and wrote it down. I didn't necessarily go out and tell somebody this, but maybe when I redo the step again, that will be my next step, is to go, literally put my voice to someone's face and let them know, hey, you know what, I'm sorry that this or that happened. But for right now, I'm not that comfortable with it. And for me right now, I'm just comfortable with it being on paper and me out loud saying it to my higher power, is what I call it. And then just, I also do them in meetings. I vent those things out in the meetings because I feel comfortable with doing it there, and I feel comfortable doing it here when I'm doing the videos. So for me, that's where that step plays out for me, and I'm comfortable with that. So the steps are all about being comfortable in your own skin and sharing your path of recovery that you're okay with, because if you're not truthful about it, then you're not going to get it all the way done. You know what I mean? You're gonna unload half of the baggage only, and you're gonna take off, and then there's always going to be some baggage still back there that's going to trip you up later on down. So just remember, always be hopeful, open-minded, and willing when you do any of the steps in any part of the recovery process. But for me, that particular part is came up for me in my mind because of that story that I heard, and because I know that I could literally sitting right here right now, I'm thinking, and I can think of people that I'd done harm to, whether it was physically harming somebody, or mentally harming them, or literally physically taking something from them, or whatever the case is. I can remember things like that in my own mind here as I'm talking to you. But so that's another thing. Once I get off here, I'll journal those things so that I don't forget, and I can come back to them and deal with them. Because a road of recovery is a process, and it's something that isn't attainable overnight. And just as it wasn't overnight that you became an addict, right? Of whatever it is that you're addicted to, and it's not overnight that you became depressed. It's not overnight that you just became this ugly, angry person. All that stuff took time, and it stems from somewhere. So you have to dig deep internally and in your mind to figure out those things. But those type of programs is what helps you do that. So it's almost like people, when they say NA or AA, and people automatically kind of like give you that label, like, oh, okay, here comes the Jesus freaks, in a sense. You know what I mean? And but it's not like that. It's totally different. But that's where the whole, you got to be open-minded to new things, and you got to be willing to try it. But you also got to be truthful about it too, because if you're not truthful, 100% honest with yourself, number one, then nothing happens in the right way. But you do have to make sure that you actually do something, because recovery is not for the lazy people. It's not easy. It's not something that you can just do one time and bam, it's it. It's not like that. It's something that's an ongoing process, an ongoing thing. It's not for the lazy person. You have to be willing. You have to take the first step. But the good thing about it is that you don't got to take that full stride. It's one small step at a time, and it gets you to where you need to go, because it eventually gets easier and easier and easier. The repetitious of doing positive things gets you in a positive realm. And once you're in that positive realm, it's like a magnet, man. It kind of keeps you there. And it allows you to see the things that will keep you, that can get you out, and you can deflect those things, and that's where those boundaries come in. But I just wanted to kind of throw the message out there today. Is if you're struggling, staying in recovery, remember, change it up. Be open-minded to changing things up. Change your routine up. Change your day up. Do like I do. What I do is I like going downtown San Antonio and just visiting different locations and different things and seeing what the city has to offer. And man, you know how many things that I've done that and places that I've gone that hadn't cost me a dime. It didn't cost me nothing except the bus ride. You know what I mean? And in the place where I'm currently at, I get a free bus pass. So it's like it's not costing me a red cent. And my day goes by. My day goes by, and I feel positive. I feel good, and doing something like this, it just lets me know that, hey, you know what? At least if one person hears my video, if one person hears my message, and it gets them to a meeting, if it gets them on that first step on that ladder to the road of recovery, well, then you know what? This was all worth it. And like I always, do at the end of my podcast, I like to give out my email, and if you need any help, if you feel you need to talk to, if you know somebody who needs some help, then just shoot me an email, and if I can do something to help you, I definitely will. But if I can't, I will definitely put you with the people who can, give you some resources, give you some numbers, give you some places that you can go attend meetings and that sort of thing. But I always like to give a shout out to different locations that I attend here periodically in my sobriety, in my recovery, and that is the Esperanza Group, downtown San Antonio, the west side, great group of folks out that way. The Winners Club out in the northwest end of town. The Goliad Group, southeast side of town, and the Club 12 over in the north central part of town. all of these places have great people out there. They won't turn you away. They'll help you. They'll engage with you. And all you got to do is walk in and just sit down and listen. And, you know, and just keep going. And you'll find it. I guarantee you that one of the days that you get there, you'll hear something that resonates with you, and that'll keep you coming back. And that'll get you engaged in a positive community, because that's what you need. That's what we all need. But again, my email is joelscorpflow@gmail.com. That's JOELSCORPFLO@gmail.com. joelscorpflow.com. Send me an email. Let me know how your day's going. If you want to collaborate on a video, we'll do. If you need something that I can help you with in your journey, then I'll do what I can. And if I can, like I said, I can direct you and navigate you to some people and resources that may be able to help you. And if nobody hasn't told you today that they care, that they love you, well, you know what? I care. I love you. And thanks for watching my videos. If you would, please hit that like button. I would appreciate that. And until the next time, when the smoke clears, we'll see you. Adios.